Decision fatigue is a problem that seems to grow exponentially in our world every day now. From the crazy amounts of things we can buy, to the infinite new career paths that are popping up, to all the new places that we know are possible to go on vacation. And while this is amazing and it's wonderful and the abundance is so beautiful to have, it can also lead us into this situation where we become depleted and fatigued and worn out from constantly making micro decisions every minute of every day. Clinical symptoms now include brain fog, irritability, a decrease in physical and mental strength, a decrease in willpower and self-control, and a decrease in the quality of future decisions. And as Ray Dalio says, the quality of our life ultimately depends on the quality of our decisions. Over the last year that I've been thinking about this, I aggregated as many solutions as I could from different books and different studies and different sources around the web, and I tested them all in my own life, and now I'm going to give you guys the 9 tips that I found most useful in trying to defeat decision fatigue in my own daily life. Okay, number 1, get good sleep. We know sleep is incredibly important for our health and our mental well-being overall, but it's incredibly important for will. Willpower is like a gas tank. It's a finite resource that wears out and it needs to be filled up again. We use it up during our day, and the best way to replenish it is through good quality sleep. They did a study a few years ago where they followed 1,100 cases of prisoners applying for parole, and they looked at hundreds of factors to decide what was the thing that was most affecting whether these prisoners got a positive decision on their parole appeal or not. And surprising all of the researchers, what they ended up finding out was that the time of day that the case was heard was what was most correlated with whether they got their appeal approved or not. In the early morning, judges were far more likely than they were later in the day. It would go down exponentially toward lunch, and then after a break and some food, there would be a spike back up again, and then it would go exponentially back down again to nearly 0 by the end of the day. So get good sleep, and if you have a huge life decision to make, something that's really important, try to do it early in the morning. Number 2 is build systems. The more that we can schedule our lives and create systems where we do the same thing over and over and over again, the less we have to decide every minute of every day, what do I feel like doing right now? I've been running for years now, and I just recently downloaded a training schedule to try to get myself to this 10K run that I'm gonna go do. And just having the schedule where I don't have to think about it, I just put it up on the wall and I go and I look at it and I'm like, oh, okay, today's 45 minutes. I'm gonna run 45 minutes today. Doesn't matter what I feel like, doesn't matter what else I need to do, doesn't matter if I need to think about whether there's something that could be more important or a better use of my time. It's on the schedule, it gets done. And I end up running so much more and spending so much less time debating about what I should be doing. Number 3 is plan ahead. Because of this thing called hyperbolic discounting, we care less about the feelings of our future selves than we care about the feelings of us right now. So if we make a list for tomorrow for what we're going to do, if we plan out our whole week for when we're going to get things done, we don't have to take into consideration as much the feeling of what we want to do in that moment, and it makes the decisions much easier to look at it from a rational perspective. Just lay out the week, and then you can go through it and do it all in the right time without having to say, what do I feel like doing right now in this moment all the time? Number 4 is making lists. It's so much easier for me to think about what I need from the store when I only have the finite amount of options in my head, instead of looking at the thousands and thousands of possibilities on the shelf. I'm working on building a master list now, and so that I know what things I always buy regularly and the intervals in which I buy them, and so that I can make less decisions even in my list making process. Attempting to find clarity in the noise of the modern world is really difficult, and anytime I can eliminate a choice from my life, I'm trying to do that. Number 5 is avoid excessive scrolling of social media or the news. Every time you look at a post, that's a decision of to click or not to click. Every time you read a headline in the news, it's like, do I want to read more of that or not? Is this a good way to spend my time or not? Sometimes I'll take a 15-minute break from work and sit down and look at my phone and scroll, and I'll come back more tired and exhausted than when I started, and it's because I just spent the 15 minutes I had off making hundreds and hundreds of micro decisions. Number 6 is have time limits. With the amount of information that's out there now, anytime I need to make a purchasing decision, I could go infinitely into research and get to analysis paralysis on even the smallest of decisions. So now I try to set time limits. Like if I need a new microphone for my camera, I'll say, okay, 30 minutes of research, I'll sit down and do it like a task that needs to be done. Spend 30 minutes, make a decision, buy something. If I could have gotten 1 or 2% more value out of my dollar by doing another hour or 2 of research, I don't really think it's worth it for the amount that it depletes me mentally and the amount of time that it takes. Okay, number 7 is let your partner make decisions. I constantly find myself asking things I don't need to be asking. Babe, what do you want for dinner? When I'm quite sure that the thing she would have liked to have for dinner the most is something she didn't have to think about. The more that we can have the courage to make executive decisions for others, and the more we can have the humility to let others make executive decisions for us, the easier our collective lives are going to be. In this world of infinite choice, I'm trying to think of it more and more that making a choice for someone else is giving them a gift. It's not an imposition. When someone calls me to go to lunch and they don't ask me where I want to go, they just say, hey, we're thinking about going here, you want to come? Such a huge relief. I'm trying to get better at this in my own life, to just put out suggestions, stand behind my decisions, and make things easier for everyone. Number 8, very similar, trust yourself. Trust your decisions. I've heard this talked about as the warrior's path. You sit down, you look at all the data, you make a good decision. And then once you make it, you never question it again. It's so easy to hit the first roadblock in a thing, hit the first bump in the road, and re-question our decisions. But we have to have faith in our past selves, have faith that we did look at all the data, we did contemplate, we did make a good decision. Now we just execute. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. If you found any of that interesting, hit that like button. It helps so much with the algorithm. Tell me what you thought was interesting in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.